Ah, summertime. The world is slowly reopening as long as we can all keep our masks on. Farmers' tans are finally back in vogue, and everyone just cannot wait for football to come back. This can mean only one thing. It's time for Colin, I moved to LA Cowherd, to once again claim that Aaron Rodgers is an unaccomplished, overrated hack who is hated by his organization and could not even hold a candle to the likes of Carson Wentz or Russell Wilson. Yes, Colin, I don't believe in personal brands. Cowherd would have you believe that Green Bay is where you go if you are so risk-averse that you struggle to even find the willpower to go to the grocery store on a regular basis, even under non-pandemic circumstances. Point is, Colin's distaste for Green Bay, and Aaron Rodgers in particular, is well documented. But see, Colin makes his money by being pompously wrong instead of being accurate. And I wasn't going to make my next video based on whatever dumb thing he was going to say this week, but this time I really just couldn't help myself. His point this time? Aaron Rodgers, the guy with 8 Pro Bowls, 2 All-Pros, 2 League MVPs, 4 NFC Championship appearances, and a Super Bowl, has had a wasted career. Good God Almighty, I am getting tired of this talking point. But, before I go off, let's take a look at what he actually said. The Niners have been super aggressive. They signed Jimmy Garoppolo before anyone thought he was worth any money. They went out and got Trent Williams. They trade DeForest Buckner. They go out and they want Jamal Adams. Hyper-aggressive. Baltimore, hyper-aggressive. Mark Ingram, Marcus Peters, they draft a tight end. They trade him a year later. Hyper-aggressive. Kansas City, D Ford, trade him. Honey Badger, bring him in. There's a handful of teams in this league, mostly the good ones, that are really aggressive. They go for it. Get the stars. And then I watch Green Bay, and I sit there and I think to myself, they don't have an owner. They let Martinez, the linebacker, go. Brian Beluga, the left tackle, go. Jared Cook, a couple years ago. They could have had Khalil Mack. Brett Favre wanted Randy Moss. And I look at all these aggressive teams in the NFL, all these new GMs. They want to make deals. They want to get stars. They want to pay money. They're all aggressive. And then there's the Packers. That's right. Brandon Marshall chortles in the background. And I think to myself, I really do. I think to myself this morning, Green Bay has got to change the way they do business. Okay, first of all, Rodgers is a future Hall of Famer. Anyone with half of a brain and working eyes can see that. The idea that you can have a Hall of Fame career and at the same time have a wasted career is complete nonsense. I legitimately am incredulous that we're still having this conversation. Then come all of his other asinine points. Number 1, Jimmy Garoppolo has been in San Francisco for 3 years. And yes, they did go to a Super Bowl last year. You know what is also true? He's appeared in a grand total of 25 games out of a possible 48. That's 52%. Is he a starting quarterback? Yeah, there's no doubt. Has that risk paid off? This same guy was calling for San Francisco to make a trade for Tom Brady this past season. Then, besides the fact that I don't know who DeForest Buckner is, the Trent Williams and Buckner signings are both aggressive moves, I'll give him that. But there are also players in positions where Green Bay doesn't need any help. Williams is a 31-year-old tackle. Green Bay already has a 28-year-old all-pro tackle that has played his entire career with Aaron Rodgers. Buckner is an interior D lineman. It's a position that they already have covered in Kenny Clark. But Buckner had 7 sacks last year, I hear. Yeah, the supposedly unaggressive Packers just had 2 free agent signings rank in the top 10 in sacks. Jamal Adams also makes legitimately 0 sense for Green Bay to pursue. They have 2 stalwart safeties anchoring their secondary. One, Darnell Savage, is coming off of a rookie season where he showed the potential to be a top-tier player, and the other is, I'm not kidding, a free agent signing that is going into his second year of his 4-year contract, where his salary is less than Adams' 5th-year option, which the Jets just picked up in May. Baltimore got a 1,000-yard season of Mark Ingram. That's pretty good, but for the record, that's less rushing yards than his own QB had. Wow, the moxie. That's not a knock on Ingram, but Aaron Jones had more rushing yards, was a far more dangerous target in the passing game, and had 27% more touchdowns than Ingram did. Colin then brings up the fact that Baltimore traded Hayden Hurst a year after drafting him, as if this is somehow a brave and bold move. I'm sorry, but you have to explain to me how this is considered a good thing. I know Call is all about being aggressive and all that bullshit, but he's implying that aggression for the sake of being aggressive is a good thing. How is bailing on your 25th overall draft pick a year into his career considered a success? Then there's the Honey Badger. Oh, the herd's all about the nicknames, isn't he? Again, Amos and Savage cost less combined than Tyrann Mathieu' entire salary. Next come all the knocks on Green Bay. I know you're ready for this one. Yes, they did let Blake Martinez, who led the league in tackles for much of the last 2 straight seasons, walk without much of a backup plan. That's about the only legitimate knock he has, but even still, Martinez's price on the open market was far and away more than what Green Bay could afford or was willing to pay him. And Brian Beluga, Brian, I know you're listening to this, I miss you like a brother. And I'm sorry that Colin cannot pronounce your name properly. Colin doesn't like the fact that they let left tackle Brian Bulaga go. First of all, Brian plays right tackle, and Goody replaced Bulaga with Rick Wagner, who is basically a discount Brian Bulaga for about half the salary. The Martinez and Bulaga decisions are a reality in the cap-strapped world of free agency. This isn't Madden. And here's the thing, Colin would be defending these moves if Green Bay was located in LA or his own hometown. Moving on to the Jared Cook criticism. Do I wish Cook returned to Green Bay? Yes, of course I do. But consider the circumstances that led to him signing in Oakland. Jared Cook signed a 2-year, $10.6 million contract in 2017. That is a great contract when you can get it, especially after the season he had. He came on strong late, but he was coming off of a season where he was making $2.8 million, made only 5 starts, and caught 30 catches for 377 yards. It was statistically the worst year of his career. Now tell me those results are worth an 89% increase in salary. Sorry, they're just not. Colin, why are you making me do this? I love Jared Cook. Then comes the Khalil Mack sweepstakes. Here's the thing. Do you really think that Goody was just sitting in his office going, I understand our biggest rival in the division is making a play for the most transcendent defensive talent since Ray Lewis, and we could really use the help defensively, but I'm just going to sit this one out. No. In fact, according to NFL.com, Green Bay was aggressively pursuing Mack. They just lost the sweepstakes, and the Bears were arguably the only team in the league that was crazy enough to meet Chucky's demands. Chicago traded away 2 first-round picks, a 2019 6th-rounder and a 2020 3rd-rounder. If Green Bay had made that trade, do you know who they would have lost out on? Either Rashawn Gary or Darnell Savage in 19, either Kadar Holman or Dexter Williams, Josiah DeGuara, and one Jordan Love. Now, I know what a controversial pick Love was, but if he in fact does become Green Bay's next franchise quarterback, you're asking Goody not only to give up 4 draft picks, but you're also asking him to give up effectively another decade or more of stability at the most important position in football in exchange for 6 years of Khalil Mack, against whom you are already 3-1. Call me an unaggressive dolt, but that's just not a deal I'm willing to make. I know Colin makes a living making grandiose statements to which he is never held accountable, but seriously, this one is just a position that is not worth defending. And it's still mind-blowing to me that he is actually sticking to his guns on this one. Hey there, do you want access to the same data analytics that we use here on the YouTube channel? For just $5 a month, you get unlimited access to customizable dashboards and visuals that are so immersive that even my football-hating wife thinks they're kind of cool. Visit cheddarheadanalytics.com for more information and to check out our free live demo.